the spirit as the teach that I need. From how to speak and how to sing, how to rally family and make this collective voice ring. Well, I give up giving and I stay in surrender. I am only man, I am only sender. I am only you, you are only me. We are only one, we are only we. And if I got the message wrong, I send apologies. But when I close my eyes, I see every single scar in every situation. Help to put me here when I arrived at my station. Blessed to feel the stress and be certain I'll survive. Blessed to take each breath, blessed to be alive. From the lowest of the lows to the ecstatic bliss, I know one thing, and this is it, that I was made for this. I was made.
Hey, how you doing? That's a good answer. Good.
Oh my.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. I've got so many compliments on your work yesterday. Hello.
Hi, hi. Oh, I forgot mine. No, it's okay. Thank you. Good.
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont. It's a joy to see you all here joining me for this morning's meditation. My name is Siv Adams, and I'm one of the practitioners here at Beaumont. So sit down, relax, uncross your legs and arms, take a deep breath in and breathe out. I'm going to read you a meditation from our lovely book, Science and Mind by Ernest Holmes, which will be followed by silent meditation. So once again, take a deep breath in and breathe out. Feel the chair really supporting you, and if you're comfortable, you may close your eyes. Cast away all doubt. Cast aside all doubt. O soul of mine, and be unafraid, for your power is from the on high. He who sits in the heavens shall be my companion. You do not need to fear. Come forward, O Spirit, from within, and express yourself through me, and let not my doubts hinder your approach. My faith shall go forth to meet you, and my confidence shall embrace you. My wading through shall bid you welcome to my house of love, and joy shall accompany us through the ages to come. I lay aside all fear and doubt. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. I lay aside all fear and doubt. Be still and know that I am God. I am still in your presence. I am quiet and peaceful, for I put my trust in you. A great stillness steals over me, and a great calm quiets my whole being as I realize your presence. The heart knows of you, O Most High within. It is still in your presence, and it puts its whole confidence in you alone. In your presence, I am still. My life is in you, O inner presence. I look upon you and hope springs forth into realization. O hope within me, undying evidence of good. You thus completely hold me in your loving embrace. And from this fond caress, assurance shall be born, and confidence and love. My hope is in you. Be still and know that I am God. Lay aside all fear and doubt. your presence, I am still. I lay aside all fear and doubt. your presence I am still. My hope is in you. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. I welcome you to come back into this holy space of sanctuary. When you feel comfortable, you may open your eyes again. I also welcome you to stay for the service starting at 10 a.m. with Dr. Michael Curcuru. And thank you for having joined me this morning for this meditation.
Let me walk to the banks of grateful for your tenderness. Life can feel unkind. Grateful for the way you see when I'm stuck inside my mind. Grateful for your courage to hold your steady ground. I'm grateful for compassion when mine cannot be found. Compassion when broken hearts bleed. Sweet compassion when my soul's in need. I find compassion for friends and enemies. My own compassion is where my spirit breathes. Oh, grateful for your thoughtful words when emptiness abounds. I'm grateful when you take my hand and you turn my head around. Grateful for the healing and warmth of your embrace. I'm grateful for compassion to touch a deeper place. Oh, compassion when broken hearts bleed. Compassion, sweet compassion. Sweet compassion when my soul's in need. Compassion, sweet compassion. I find compassion for friends and enemies. Compassion, sweet compassion. My own compassion is where my spirit breathes. Compassion, sweet compassion. Yes, make me, mold me, shape me, shift me to all I can be, that I may express your endless compassion. Oh, it's what I'm meant to be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Compassion when broken hearts bleed. Compassion, sweet compassion. Oh, sweet, 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 sweet compassion when my soul's in need. Compassion, sweet compassion. I find compassion for friends and enemies. Compassion, sweet compassion. My own compassion is where my spirit breathes. Compassion, sweet compassion.
bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart. Reach up, I feel love, and bring it to my heart.
Take time now and think about what you got. Look inside, draw the surface curtain. You can be certain, my friends, we got a lot. And everyone's got their own stories of sorrows and glories. We can laugh and we can cry.
So we're going with the flow today. And that's part of our teaching. You go with the flow, you go with what's happening, you stay present in the moment. And I would like to welcome everyone online, our spiritual online community, to the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont today. I'd like to welcome everyone here in person today. We're glad to see you. And if you're a first-time guest, do we have any first-time guests today, by show of hands? Okay. We do have blue welcome packets in the back for anyone who would like to get a little more information about our center. And after service, we will have a fellowship meal in Carter Hall. That's a full lunch, and so we invite you to stay after service. And if you'll take a moment now to silence your cell phones, so make sure your cell phones are on silent. And as we do that, let's take a look and read our mission statement, which is going to be on the monitor. So this is our mission statement. It kind of tells you what our center is about. And so let's read this together. CSLB is an inclusive and transformative community of spiritual practice. And so now we're going to go into our opening song. Aaron Drucker, thank you for this day. You're welcome to sing along, and the lyrics are on the screen.
Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing,
wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Oh, thank you. Thank you for this day, Spirit. I want to thank you. I want to thank you. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Every day I say thank you for this day,
Spirit, thank you for this day. All right. So we're moving into our announcements. And our first announcement is that meditation, is that meditation is moving to 9:45 starting in March. And so we're going to make it more of a sacred space here. So from 9:45 to 9:55, we'll have meditation. Then we'll have 5 minutes before we go into service. And we will be closing the sanctuary for meditation time. We want to make it more of a sacred space and not have people coming in and out. So from 9:45 to 9:55, there will be signs on the door that we're in meditation. So if you want to be here in meditation, make sure you're here by 9:44. And then the sanctuary will be closed until 9:55 when we'll open up for our community gathering. And our flower ministry, started by Reb Bev and continued, Ross is continuing that. If you would like to celebrate a loved one, an organization, or a special occasion by sponsoring the Sunday flowers, let us know. We'll buy the flowers, and it's usually around a $35 charge to sponsor them. And we'll do a heartfelt message with them. So sign up today at the Flower Ministry, which is in the hall. And today's flowers were sponsored by Siv Adams in honor of her son, Jonathan, who made his transition 17 years ago tomorrow. So they're in honor of Jonathan. We also have flowers here by Donna, Flowers by Donna, who received these in honor of her birthday a few days ago, and so she contributed these to the center today. So we have an abundance of flowers today. So we'll always say yes, so we're really glad to see the flower ministry going so well. And now, a Food for Fellowship challenge. We do a full lunch every Sunday in there. We invite someone to bring an entree. You can buy that entree. You can make that entree homemade. The center will reimburse you, if you so desire, for up to $50 for the ingredients for that entree. We invite you next Sunday. Metaphysical Bingo is returning. And so we'll do bingo after lunch, March 2nd. We'll play 4 games of bingo, and it's a lot of fun, and we call out the terms in terms of metaphysical bingo. So if it's B4, we talk about, before there was consciousness, and we always try and tie it into a metaphysical theme on the numbers we call out. And now, on March 8th, we have our membership luncheon. For members and new members or people who are thinking about becoming members, that's going to be on March 2nd from noon to 1. We'll have a small class, a PowerPoint presentation on what this center is about, what our teaching is about. So we'll be welcoming new members, inviting members to join. So come on down and find out about what membership means at this center. We are in the movie night phase. We do it every other month. This month, in the month of March, we are doing the movie, and we have spaghetti dinner, pasta dinner. We're moving to pasta because sometimes it's lasagna, pasta dinner from 5 to 6, and the movie from 6 to 8. And this month, the movie is on Golden Pond. It's metaphysical. It talks about aging and love through the eternity. So it's a great movie to run for metaphysical movie night. Today, after service, our annual meeting. It'll be right after service before lunch, and we're going to talk about how our finances are doing, what we've done this year in the center, how teams have grown, how classes have been presented, and what we're looking forward to in the new year. So we invite all of you to stay for our annual meeting immediately after service and then join us for lunch. And those are our announcements. We have one more from Donna, and Donna has presented us at the Redlands High School on March 9th. That's Sunday, March 9th. She will be performing and singing, and they're performing Symphony No. 9 in E minor, Opus 95 from the New World. So Redlands Community Orchestra, Donna is part of that. Again, Sunday, March 9th, 3 p.m. So we'll have the flyer out there in the hall on our bulletin board, but Don wanted me to mention that today. And those are the end of our announcements.
Mine is free.
And Donna's is free. There's no charge. So stay for the free lunch here and then go for the free concert afterwards.
Hi, I'm Evonne Fowler, and I'm one of the nursing, I am a nurse, but one of the practitioners here today. And the other practitioners and I and the ministers will be over here on this side of the sanctuary. If you have anything on your mind, or if you just want to have a prayer, and it's like a 2-minute miracle. So we talk about whatever your needs are at that time and pray for the healing. So please, if you got anything on your mind, come right over there and sit with us, and we'll find one of us to talk with you. The abundance affirmation we already talked about, but one of the things that I want to mention is that abundance is everything. It's just not money, it's just not wealth, it's just not health, and that's what we talk about here. So please listen to the meditative song that we have now.
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we get to the place that's right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shall not be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we get to the place that's right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shall not be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we get to the place that's right, we'll be in the valley of love and delight.
I'd like you just to close your eyes and think of why we're here today. Invocation. We're here in a sacred spot. listening and hearing the message. And we know that God is always with us, everywhere present. So as we listen, we hear inside of us the things that we need to hear. And as I think about the media tech that makes our service run so smoothly, I give thanks. I give thanks for Reverend Michael, who gives us the message that we need to hear. And I give thanks to all of us for being here and being aware that we have a job to do, to go out into the community and the world and live a life of awareness. And so it is. I have a little power talk today. And it's really crazy how things happen. But yesterday I came across a paper I had written for practitioner studies way back in 2019. I love seeing things with new eyes. And I am a perpetual student. And I can see how my faith and beliefs have changed over the years. And it's mostly because of the classes and everything else that I've taken, and just being here in Science of Mind. So each class and course and workshop or Sunday service has really expanded my thinking. Our principles and practices don't change, but how I perceive them does. And as I continue on with my awareness, I seem to go deeper and deeper. And I think that's what we're supposed to be doing. So I feel good. I feel good about it. And everyone is my teacher, you know, Reverend Michael, Reverend Neil, my peers, my family, my friends, my neighbors. Each teacher expresses in a different way. And if you listen carefully, you can get the message. And you can go on and be better. Okay? Right now, there are 2 activities that are enhancing my understanding of the principles we practice here at CSLB, and that's Beyond Limits course, and that's taught by Reverend Michael, and the Joel Goldsmith study group, which is facilitated by Reverend Neil. And then just yesterday, we had a workshop on learning about sacred listening. I mean, it was an exceptional thing. It was about listening to understand and not to respond, about listening and hearing what the other person is saying. And it just brought back a lot of things we all know, but there were so many jewels within that talk, that workshop, that were just so great. Listening to understand what's being really said by the other person. And you know, that's a gift. And I never thought about that, but it is. It's a gift that we listen to other people and they know that we hear what they're listening. We hear what they're saying. And that's part of the compassionate care program that we are encouraging you to get involved in, either by asking for help or support or by coming and helping other people. So that's our compassionate care program. And we'll have a meeting once a month, and we'll have some sort of a workshop or some sort of a learning experience, like forgiveness, maybe next time. Okay. Practicing our principles and our practices is a way to expand our awareness of using the principles, and that's a way of life, and the practice and the principles. And sometimes I think I forget that. And it's good to be reminded. Most of us know that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, right? Okay? When our human body dies, the body returns to dust, right? But our spiritual being is eternal, and that continues on its journey of consciousness. We are immortal beings. The principles or core concepts are the golden thread that runs in some way, in some configuration, in all religions and philosophies in the world, everywhere, almost all. What I believe, which is based on the core concepts of our philosophy, is the creed that we have here at Center for Spiritual Living, and was written by our founder. And I'm sure you all have a copy of it somewhere, but it might be time to take it out and look at it again. You know, it's like the Ten Commandments. So if you think about that, these are the principles, and the practices are what we do. Meditation, spiritual reading, affirmative prayer. There's all kinds of practices that go along with our principles. And if you remember what Corliss always said, practice, practice, practice. Know what you're thinking. And Reverend Michael says, awake, aware, and alive. And live it. Okay. So the core concept number one is that God is all there is and everywhere present. That's my words. The allness and oneness of God, that's what it's all about. Each one of us is made of God's substance, a unique individualization of God. Each one of us. Through our being and livingness, we are the way Spirit expresses itself here on earth. The universe, all nature, and humans are living examples, expressions of God. Now and forever, each one of us are expressions of God. We are the hands and the feet of God, the visible, okay? There is one divine wholeness and total interconnectedness with us and our Creator. We are one, as one. Even when we have feelings of separateness that happen, this oneness is always within us, always there. This is who we are. We all are humans, are one with all of life. Okay. I realize that the greatest power in the universe is always with me, as me, always. I continue to expand my ability to see beyond the appearances to wholeness and perfection, and develop my ability to accept the good inherent in all experiences. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, says faith itself is not enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is without action. Let me try that again. He says, faith by itself is not enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is without action is dead, which means if we just say we have faith and we don't do anything about it, it doesn't mean a whole lot of things. So please join me as I continue on my journey of awareness. Life definitely changes one's perception of change, and then that changes our life. And so it is.
And so it is. So thank you, Evonne. I called Evonne last night at, I don't even know, I think 7:30, and said, I'm working on my talk, and I don't have a practitioner of the day yet. So Evonne stepped in and did that, and I really appreciate your spontaneity, your willingness to say yes, and that's part of our teaching. And Adrian reminded me to put this down because it knocks the autofocus on the camera out, so we're putting the microphone down. And part of, I don't want to say autofocus, I'm not sure I want to say autofocus in this teaching. I don't think anything is automatic. But I found this morning one of my automatic defaults is to say, no, I don't want to trouble you. Don't go out of your way. And it showed up when Siv sponsored these flowers, and then Donna called and said, I have some bouquets of flowers I would love to bring to the center. I said, no, we have flowers taken care of. And I thought, one of my beliefs on board, and that's our talk title today, one of my beliefs on board is that I don't want to trouble you. I don't want you to go out of your way. And I found myself doing that with Donna. No, don't go to the trouble of bringing the flowers. And so I said, no. And that's one of my beliefs on board. And yet one of the beliefs, one of our spiritual practices, one of our spiritual principles, and one of the prayers that we pray is the prayer of yes. We pray yes. We pray yes into our life. And I like to say, Y-E-S, yes, evolves spirit, and no doesn't grow. And there I found myself on the way to the center, turning down an abundance of flowers. Oh, we're going to have too many. And it's interesting because a couple of weeks ago, we had Ty brought flowers in honor of her friend, and I think Ross, someone else, had brought flowers the same day, and we had 2 bouquets of flowers. And now we have 3 bouquets of flowers. And what I'm knowing is that 4 bouquets of flowers are on the way. So you don't have to call and ask me if you want to bring flowers or participate in the flower ministry. Just bring flowers. Just bring flowers. It's okay. We don't need permission to bring flowers at the center. But it ties in to something Evonne shared in her Power Talk. She talked about that power of silence, that power of silent listening. We don't want to be in a state when somebody's talking of thinking about what we're going to say next so that we can't hear them. You know, we're already formulating our answer so we can't possibly hear what they're sharing. And one of the things about flowers, and this came from Jesus, a master teacher, and also from Buddha, and they talk about the power of nature to connect us with that yes of that oneness of who we are. And it said that Jesus gave a sermon, Buddha gave a sermon to a group of their followers at one point. And Jesus and Buddha, in order to communicate that oneness of life, that yesness of life, yes, evolved spirit, our spiritual evolution into that oneness of life, both Jesus in a sermon and Buddha simply held up a flower in front of their followers. And they held it up in silence. And they said nothing. It's said that all the followers gathered, in each gathering, Buddha and Jesus, only 1 or 2 of the disciples experienced what he was teaching. They experienced in the silence their oneness with the beauty of nature. Their oneness with the beauty that this teaching speaks about our blossoming into our becoming. And only a few of the disciples experienced that message in the silence of contemplating a flower. And so today, in the concept of blossoming and moving forth into that beauty and that expansion and that expression and that fullness of life that we are, and I invite you at home to contemplate, if you have a flower in your room, flowers out the window, to take a look at that flower and contemplate that oneness of life. That oneness of life that takes us beyond our beliefs on board. That oneness of life that takes us beyond our beliefs on board into the beauty and the bounty and the blessing of the gift of life that we are. We're just as beautiful on the inside as these flowers are on the outside. And so part of spiritual blossoming for me, part of spiritual presencing for me, part of spiritual power for me is power of humor. I think we'd use a little more laughter right now on this world, a little more lightening up. Gets a little heavy out there sometimes. And so what is ours to do? To move beyond the belief on board that we have to buy into the heaviness of the conditions of the world, and that we can come from the consciousness of lightening up and finding our way to laughter. And so this morning, I had, on the way here, the rudest and the slowest and the meanest and the grumpiest cashier I've ever had. And well, I guess in Science of Mind, we have to accept our responsibility, right, for the grumpiness of another. And I guess it was all my fault for using the self-checkout lane. Now, yet, what Science of Mind invites us to self-checkout, this is a self-checkout teaching. And what Science of Mind invites us to self-checkout are the beliefs on board that we carry within. Science of Mind invites us to self-checkout our beliefs on board that we carry within that create the storyboards of our lives. The storyboards of our lives that come to bind and bound and border us. That come to bind and bound and border us in the zip code of our limiting beliefs. Rather than being set free, and this is a teaching of freedom, of blossoming, of beauty, of bounty, of mystery and of magic and of mysticism. And rather than being set free, the beliefs that we carry on board keep us from being set free in the bounty and the beauty and the bliss of spiritual truth, that there are no zip codes in heaven. There are no zip codes in heaven. And so our talk title is Beliefs on Board. And you all should have received a Belief on Board sign. I want you to know, it was right at my talk last night at 9:30, and I ordered these signs from, said Baby on Board, and I went down to Ross and said, I need you to print out these signs, Belief on Board, and tape them over. So Ross worked on these, not in a good mood. You had to ask me at 9:30 at night. But Ross, at 9:30 to 10, did those. So I want to acknowledge him for moving beyond his resistance and say yes. Because yes involves spirit and no doesn't grow. So that's what we want to remember. Now, among the beliefs that we carry on board that keep us from getting on board with spirit is that we believe spirit doesn't have time to bother with us. Yeah? Why would spirit have time to bother with you? Why would spirit have time to bother with me? Spirit's got a lot going on, right? So spirit doesn't have time to bother with me. It's a young girl, and she was misbehaving. And so her parents sent her to bed, to her room, without dinner. And she focuses out her window, her bedroom window, and she sees a shooting star that lights the night sky as she begins to pray heavenward. And she prays, and this is her prayer. Spirit, I've asked you time and time and time again to make me a better person. But Spirit, it's quite obvious to me you've been too busy to bother with me. Now, in the beneath of the belief, this teaching talks about the beneath of our belief. What's beneath our belief? And Ernest Holmes says beneath our belief is a subconscious belief that we don't even know is there. And that subconscious belief that spirit doesn't have time to bother with me, when we look at the underbelly of that, we come to the revealing of a deeper truth, a healing truth. Ernest Holmes invites us to go deeper. Invites us to go deeper beyond the appearance of the truth that spirit doesn't have time to me, into the revelation of a deeper healing truth, which is always, I don't have time to bother with spirit. Yes? If you're telling yourself spirit doesn't have time to bother with you, the truth beyond that, because we're always speaking to ourselves, I don't have time to bother with spirit. So can we see how this teaching begins to work? The on board of our beliefs keeps us from being on board with the spiritual truth. Shakespeare said it this way. You know, it's said that spirit is everywhere present and everywhere powerful and everywhere knowing. Well, if that's true, then spirit also has to be everywhere seen and everywhere heard and everywhere known, yes? So why aren't we everywhere seeing, everywhere hearing, and everywhere knowing? Because, as Evonne said, we don't take time to be present with the silence. So if I can't be present with you, spirit is in the house. So I'm always looking for signs, and I know that is a sign that spirit is in the house, right? Sometimes spirit's a little noisier. So I think spirit's telling us I am everywhere present. And sometimes to wake you up, I'm going to drop a clipboard on the floor. So wake up, spirit's in the house. Shakespeare said this. Shakespeare was a great wake-up call. And he believed that the pen was mightier than the sword. And so he shared that the fault is not in a too busy spirit without. Yes? The fault is not in a too busy spirit without. It's in the underbelly of the too busy of our beliefs on board. Our beliefs on board just get too busy in our mind, right? Busy, 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 busy. So we have a busy signal when Spirit's trying to connect with us. We're just busy, 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 so we can't connect with Spirit. But in the underbelly of the too busy of our beliefs on board within that keep us from the deeper spiritual truth that Spirit and I are one. Yes? Ernest Holmes speaks of this ever deeper truth, this ever existent beyond the level of our subconscious beliefs within. We don't even know they're there. Remember a few talks ago, I mentioned Mr. Cellophane. It's a song from a Broadway play. Our beliefs within, our subconscious within, our onboard beliefs are like cellophane tape. They stick to us. We can't get rid of them. It's like flypaper, you know? It's like movies, the old movies, and the Three Stooges get stuck in flypaper, and they try and get that flypaper off. And the more you try and get it off, the more it sticks to you. And then it sticks to your fingers, and then it sticks to your shoulders, and then you're all bound up. Well, that's kind of what our beliefs are. They stick to us. But they stick to us with cellophane tape that we don't even know they're sticking to us, and we can't even see them on that subconscious level. So Ernest Holmes speaks of this ever deeper truth that's ever existent beyond the level of our subconscious beliefs within. And he refers to it as the experiential truth. That's what I love about this teaching. That's what I love about Science of Mind. That's what I love about New Thought people. I had people say, well, how do I know this is true? Prove it to me. I can't prove anything to you, but I can guarantee you that you will improve if you accept this teaching. And the way that you know you're improving is how we experience our lives as we move into this teaching, yes? How we experience our lives. And if you've been at this center for 6 months, and you take the time to look and listen, stop, look, and listen, each person here today will find somewhere that they're seeing something a little differently. Maybe you're more aware of your breath. Maybe you're more aware of your presence. Maybe you're more aware of a beautiful flower in your garden. If you've been here 6 months or more, there's an experiential awakening that will awaken you to the improving that you are. And as you realize you're improving, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You're improving. Your experience of improving is the proof you're looking for. William Shakespeare shares this of the experiential spiritual truth. That's what this teaching is about, the experiential spiritual truth of deep calling unto deep, or of our deep diving into spirit. Are you willing to deep dive into spirit? We did a deep dive in our Beyond Limits class the other day. We did a really deep dive. Someone asked the question, we're studying the 5 steps of prayer. God is, I am, all's well, thank you, and so it is. And someone asked this question, and here's what I knew. In the asking of that question, I knew that she already knew the answer. In the asking of the question, I knew that she already knew the answer, but she didn't know that she knew. And the question was, if I'm praying from our 5-step treatment for something, I'm praying for my perfect health, yes? I'm praying for my perfect wealth, yes? I'm praying for my perfect creative expression. I'm praying for my perfect relationship. And she said, isn't that duality? If I'm praying for something, doesn't that mean that I don't have it? If you're praying for something, it means you don't have it and you're trying to call it forth in your life. And I said, yes, that's an absolute prayer that's going to continue I'm praying for abundance. And you're going to be in that state of praying for abundance, of waiting for abundance to show up in your life. And the shift was, in the deeper dive of our prayer, we do not pray for anything in science of mind. We pray from the knowing that it's already ours. Can you experientially feel the difference? I'm praying for my perfect health. I'm praying for my perfect partner. I'm praying to find the perfect spiritual center to go to. In our praying for, we keep it from ourselves. But when we do the deeper dive in consciousness, that science of mind is about praying from the knowing, everything's overflowing in spirit. Everything's overflowing. Can you feel the experiential spiritual truth of praying from that oneness of spirit, of praying from the presence of abundance, of praying from that creative expression? We do not pray for, we pray from the experiential knowing. William Shakespeare shares this of experiential truth, of deep calling unto deep, of our deep diving into spirit, and he calls it forth in Julius Caesar. Shakespeare says this, and it's a little bit of a deep dive. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but it is in ourselves. Can we see how we went back to that original story of, this cashier made me mad, but then I was at the self-checkout, so really I was the one who was mad and perturbed. And that science of mind is about checking things out on the human plane and connecting in a way that we see how we're behaving into a spiritual becoming of the higher truth, of knowing that it's always in ourselves and it's not out there. This is not an outer teaching. This is an inner teaching. An inner teaching of that spiritual truth that we experience within. Thomas Merton shared this about our onboarding of beliefs. How do we onboard our beliefs? Well, there are a lot of people who will onboard their beliefs upon us, and we take them on board. There are a lot of teachers from kindergarten. You onboard the belief that a gold star on your paper, on your drawing of a tree, means you're better than somebody who didn't get a gold star. So we're taught that I'm better and you're less. That's not oneness. So we onboard that belief that I want a gold star all of my life, instead of realizing that we're all of the stars of the universe. We're all of the stars of the universes beyond the universes we know. And we're all of the stars beyond the universes, beyond the universes, beyond the universes we know. But we're the starlight of love and truth in the universe that we know so very well. The universe that we know so very well. The universe of our soul within. The universe of our soul within. We're living so far out in universes that we can't possibly hear the spiritual truth, the experiential spiritual truth of our voice of spirit within our soul. So Thomas Merton shares this about our onboarding of belief, that I need to know more, I need to know why, I need to know what happened. And he shares this about our onboarding of beliefs. Our incessant belief in our unceasing need to know what's happening. Why is it happening? In the too much what and why. In the too much what and why, we miss the who and whose we are, of who we are spiritually becoming. In the too much of the what and the why, we can't possibly hear the symphony of the who and whose we are becoming, of who and who we are spiritually awakening to, awareing to, and alivening to. Alive, awake, and aware. And so Thomas Merton shares this. You do not need to precisely know what is happening. or exactly where it's all going. What we need to recognize in the moment are the possibilities and challenges offered by the present moment. Do you experientially feel the silence right now? We're listening on a different level than we came here today. Can you feel it? There's a silent listening here right now. There's a silent listening. That's what Thomas Merton is talking about. That's what Thomas is talking about. The possibilities and challenge offered by the present moment. And to embrace them with courage and faith and hope. Embrace the silence of this present moment. Embrace the new way of listening to others and to yourself. Embrace the silent listening in a way that you listen into the silence that you hear not from the universe without, but from the universe of your soul within, the courage and faith and hope that you are. Maya Angelou was a person of courage and faith and hope. She wrote a book called Why Does the Caged Bird Sing? She spent much of her early life in a cage. She caged herself away from life. She caged herself away from people. She caged herself away from the spiritual truth of who she was. She was raped at a very young age by an uncle. And she went into silence. She couldn't speak it. She couldn't process it. She couldn't feel it in her heart. We can't process life's trauma through our head. We can only process it through our heart. And she couldn't process it, so she went into silence for 7 years and didn't speak a word. But part of her going into that silence was her relatives finally got her to share what happened, and she gave the name of that uncle. And vigilante justice, her family went out and beat that man to death that night. Beat her uncle to death that night. Vigilante justice. And she felt responsible for his death because she had spoken. And she said she would never speak another word again, and she didn't for 7 years. Maya Angelou was a person of courage and faith and hope. She shared this about our beliefs on board. She shared this about her beliefs on board. And one of the things about our beliefs on board that we take on board when we're 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, the beliefs we take on board when we're 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, South Pacific, you have to learn to hate the people your relatives hate. You have to learn to hate before you are 6 or 7 or 8. The problem with carrying that belief on board that we've been taught and onboarded that you have to hate the people who are different than you are, the people who have a different religion than you have, the people who eat different foods than you have, the people who dress differently than you dress, the people who walk differently than you walk, the people who talk differently than you talk. The problem about carrying those beliefs on board from when you're 6 or 7 or 8, that you're living those beliefs when you're 60 or 70 or 80. And so Maya Angelou shared this. She said one of the things she learned in that silence was the importance of diversity and equity and inclusion. She learned the importance of different people being different ways. She learned the equity of coming to love herself unconditionally, because no one was going to get her out of that cage. No one is going to get you out of your cage of belief that you took on when you were 6 or 7 or 8. The only person who's going to open that cage, open that door, and let you fly is yourself. And the key to that cage of your beliefs that you have onboarded, that are keeping you in separation from the spirit that is inboard and outward bound. Spirit is inboard and outward bound, is the key of love in your heart. And Angelo says this: we all should know that diversity makes for a rich tapestry. And we must understand that all of the threads of the tapestry of life are equal. They are equal in value, no matter what their color. All of the threads of the tapestry of life are equal. There is not one thread of the tapestry of life is it more equal or more deserving or more colorful or more beautiful. Each thread of the tapestry of life, and we are each threads of the tapestry of life, we're an amazing part of the beauty of this life and of this teaching we call Science of Mind. You know, beliefs on board. What's the color of your skin? What's the color of the thread and the weave of your fabric of life? There was a woman, German scientist named Franz von Solot. Franz von Solot in 1886 was in a lab, and she said, you know, if we pasteurize milk, we can prevent all kinds of diseases. Now, Louis Pasteur was the one known for pioneering this type of work on the destruction of microbes by heating them. But Pasteur's area of interest was wine and beer, not milk. And so she discovered that you could pasteurize milk and eliminate all kinds of diseases. And yet, the sciences of Franz's time, the sciences of her time in 1986, couldn't see past the color of Franz's sex. They couldn't see past the fact that she was a woman in a time when women were considered of no intellectual value, of no scientific merit, of no inherent worth beyond homemaking. She went on, discovered the process, saved thousands of lives. It isn't the self-worth of others that we expect to get from others. It's our self-worth within. When we come to look about the beliefs on board, that I'm a woman, so I'm not enough. I'm black, so I'm not enough. I'm a child, so I'm not powerful enough, so I'll grow up and act like a child all my life and not be powerful. Right? How's that going to work for you? 3 weeks ago in the South, there was a gentleman, and he was on the internet. Can we advance to the next slide, Chuck? Thank you. 3 weeks ago, young man in the South, a black man, found the house of his dream. Young black man in his 20s found the house of his dreams, the house in the lower right corner, the house of his dreams on the internet. And he called the seller. It was for sale by owner, right? And isn't it always ourselves selling ourselves out for sale by owner? What are you selling by owner? Where are you selling yourself out? Where are you selling yourself short? Where you're selling yourself as an underdog. Where are you selling yourself short? But he called the owner and he said, this is my house. I saw it on the internet. I want to come by and look at it. And the owner said, come on by and look at it. I'll walk you through. I'm selling it. But he said, I'm going to let you know it's an all-cash offer. You got an all-cash offer. And the young man arrives, about 26, 27, a young black man. And the gentleman says, I don't really think you should waste your time walking through this house. And the young man says, why? I know this is my house. And he said, because you're a young black man, and obviously you wouldn't have enough money for an all-cash offer. The beliefs that we learn when we're 6 or 7 or 8. Can you see the owner of that house? How he sold himself short by living his life from a belief that his parents taught him when he was 6 or 7 or 8, and he was now 50 or 60 or 70? Can you imagine how much he sold himself short in all of the people he didn't get to experience this lifetime? You know, if you want to sell yourself short, be my guest. But think of all of the people you're going to miss out on. All the people you're going to miss out on. So he said, I would like to walk through the house. He walked through it. He said, this is my house. And he made the gentleman an all-cash offer. Yes, he was a black man. Yes, he was 8 years old. And yes, he had the cash to pay cash for the house. The seller couldn't see past the color of the buyer's skin. Couldn't see past the color of the buyer's skin. And the buyer said this to the gentleman. He said, don't ever underestimate a hard-working black man. Don't ever underestimate a hard-working black man again. When he walked in the house, he knew it was his. And as he researched the history of this house, and this is the mystery of our science of mind, our past meets our present. And where our past meets our present, it opens up the possibility of a future we couldn't have imagined. And this young man, his past met his present as he took ownership of that house, and he came to realize that that house was built in 1820 by his slave relatives. Working for a mill owner, they were slaves, and they built that house for a white mill owner, and now, 200 some years later, he was owning that house his slave relatives had built. The gentleman said, this house is too big for you. He said, you don't understand. This is my generational house. This house is all of my generations that have ever lived before me, that have ever believed before me, that have ever been present before me. I need this house to house all of the relatives that paved the way for me to become the man I am today. He said, I wish I could have told my ancestors in 1820, when they were building that house and breaking their backs to the whips of their masters, that 200 years later, their relative, a young black man, 28 years old, would pay cash for that house. You know, and he said, I still marvel that in this society today that people think a black man's offer would be off the table because he couldn't possibly have the money to pay cash for a house. The black community is coming to learn. The gay community is coming to learn to build our own tables. We're learning to build our own tables. And we're learning to invite to those tables that we build in consciousness. Tables of love, and tables of light, and tables of truth, and tables of unconditional love. We're going to choose to invite to the tables we build the people we want to be present with. This kid, the young man said, you're welcome to come to my White House anytime you want. I can't wait to have you as a guest at the table of life that I built. Glory to God in the highest. I'm a homeowner, and I've come home. I've come home. My dad always said, don't build higher walls, build longer tables. Don't build higher walls of beliefs on board. Don't build higher walls of beliefs on board. Build longer tables made of the deeper truths beyond the shallows of our beliefs. Don't build higher walls of your beliefs on board. Build longer tables made of the deeper truths beyond the shallowness of our beliefs. Ernest Holmes writes this. He writes this. As we open our arms to inclusivity, divinity opens its arms to us. Welcome to Ernest Holmes' table. Welcome to Ernest Holmes' table of consciousness of unconditional love. Welcome to Ernest Holmes' table beyond the beliefs and the shallowness of beliefs that others have put upon us, that others have put within us. As we open our arms to inclusivity, divinity opens our arms to us, and there ain't no other way. There ain't no other way. Ernest says this: when we separate ourselves from the divine fire, we become an isolated spark. As soon as our consciousness is detached from our wholeness, we can no longer draw from that inexhaustible reservoir of eternal existence. It is, and he puts this in caps, it is impossible to feel separated from that spirit without feeling lost and in want. It is impossible to feel separation from the spirit without feeling lost and want within. Mark Twain shared this about our beliefs on board. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did. 20 years from now, you're going to be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did. So throw off the bowlines of your belief, says Mark Twain. Throw off the bowlines of your belief. Sail away from the safe harbor of your comfort zones. Catch the trade winds of truth in your sails and explore and dream and discover. Welcome to the spiritual experience of our Science of Mind teaching. Explore and dream and discover. Brene Brown says, we can do hard things. One of the hardest things we'll ever have to do is to own our story and move beyond the story of our limiting beliefs on board and move beyond the story of our limiting beliefs by coming to love ourselves through the process of coming to know ourselves. We move beyond the onboarding of our belief by coming to love ourselves through the process of coming to know ourselves. Science of Mind. Come to know yourself through the process of loving yourself. We can do hard things. The story of the Little Rock Nine, hard story of courage and faith and hope in a time when the color of the consciousness of this country, our country, 'tis of thee, was of the darkness of hate, the blackness of fear, and the belittlement and dehumanization of those with a different color skin. The thread of their weave of the fabric of life wasn't good enough for much of this country. The Little Rock Nine were a group of 9 black students who rolled at a formerly all-white central school in Little Rock, Arkansas. In September '57, their attendance at the school was a test of Brown versus the Board of Education. A landmark 1954 Supreme Court ruling that declared segregation in public schools is unconstitutional. September 4, '57, the first day of classes, Governor Orville Fabus called in the Arkansas National Guard to block the black students' entry into the high school. Later that month, Dwight D. Eisenhower sent in federal troops to escort the Little Rock Nine into the school. It drew national attention to the civil rights movement. I feel the story of the civil rights movement, and we're talking about spiritual experiences, teaching about spiritual experience, and I feel the story of the civil rights movement is a story that it's okay to be different. I don't know what you feel, but I know that I feel the story of civil rights is a story that it's okay to be different. It's okay to have a different color skin. It's okay to have a different sexual orientation. It's okay to have a different religious belief. It's okay to eat different foods. It's okay to live in different zip codes. I feel the story of the civil rights movement is a story of becoming comfortable in your own skin, whatever color it is, comfortable in your own consciousness, whatever color it is, comfortable in your own fabric of life, whatever color that is. The consciousness of knowing you don't have to change the color of your skin to fit in. It's not about fitting in, it's about fitting together. Diversity within unity. That's Science of Mind. Diversity within unity. A diversity within unity of knowing. It's about living authentically as the person you were born to be. Not living from the beliefs on board, of living from who you were told to be. beliefs on board about living who we're born to be, not living from who we're told to be. And so it's said that whenever one person stands up for what is right, it makes it so much easier for other people to stand up with him. Have you noticed that if one person in a room stands up for what's right, a second person will stand up, and a third person will stand up, and finally, that whole room will be standing? What are you willing to stand up for today? What truth are you willing to stand in today? What life beyond your beliefs on board are you willing to live today? You know, I began by saying I had the rudest and slowest and meanest and grumpier cashier this morning. Well, I guess it's all my fault for using the self-checkout lane. Science of mind is a self-checkout lane consciousness. Yet what science of mind invites us to self-check out are our beliefs on board that we carry within that keep us from getting onward with spiritual truth. The spiritual truth that there's not a spot where Spirit's love is not. And so as we end this talk, I invite us to come to today's affirmation, which is also our first spiritual principle. And today's affirmation: love is the alchemy that transforms the world. I invite us to say that together. Love is the alchemy that transforms the world. And so ends our talk. And so it is. And so, thank you. Thank you. And so let's take this into prayer. And let's know that we're our own cashier in our life. And I may not follow the 5 steps, and let's call this a benediction, beneficial words. And so, knowing that in science of mind, we're the cashier of our life. We're the cashier of our consciousness. And we get to withdraw as much consciousness from life as we choose. And we know that in that cashier's drawer of consciousness that we are withdrawing from, it's unlimited, it's unbounded, it's unbinded. There are no beliefs that limit the amount of our financial abundance that we withdraw from the cashier's drawer of consciousness of our life. There are no beliefs in the cashier's drawer of consciousness that we cannot withdraw an abundance of absolute, perfect, and radiant health. There is nothing we cannot withdraw from our cashier drawer of truth, as we are the cashiers of our own consciousness, of a creativity, of a perfect creativity in which we are more beautiful than all of the flowers on this earth, because we become the flower on this earth that we were born to be. And in that cashier's drawer of consciousness of which we are the cashier, there is nothing that we can't withdraw. When we withdraw from our beliefs on board that we are not enough, that we are not enough love, that we are not enough light, and we are not enough laughter, because those are beliefs on board that keep us from the cashier's drawer of consciousness, that knowing Spirit's abundance is overflowing. And in that overflowing of spiritual abundance, the absolute truth and principle is all is well all the time. Together I invite us to say, as so it is, as we move into our song. This is going to drive the tech crew and the camera work crazy, but I'm going to go around and say hello. They say, we can't follow you.
this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. And I know this voice of love, it is singing through my life. It is all I am, every part of me. It is all I choose to be. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only
And so I invite our ushers to come forth at this time, and I invite us to read together our giving statement. I give, receive freely and generously with an open heart and an open mind. The universe responds to me in kind. I know that my beloved community is richly blessed, and so it is. And for those of you online, you can donate to this center by going to cslbeaumont.org and donating there, or you can text to give 951-420-6909. And to our spiritual community online, we're so glad you're here. We hope to see you in person one of these days, but type into the chat where you're from, and we'll give you a shout out next week of where people are watching from. We're so glad you joined us today.
God, for everything. Thank you, 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 God, for everything. Thank you. Thank you.
Stand up.
Thank
We join, we encircle the room with our love, with our vitality, with that energy.
you. Thank
And if you're comfortable holding hands in that circle, it's fine. If you want to remain seated, that's fine. Join us in consciousness as we sing our way out with this, our closing song. A song delayed is not a song denied. And so, know with me that something wonderful happened here at CSLB today. And that something wonderful that happened is that we showed up. And in our showing up, we came to glow up a little bit, right? We came to be that glowing light of our soul and that glowing flame of love in our heart and that glowing of presence of love in our light. So I invite us, each of us individually and all of us collectively this week, to glow forth that light of love that you are. And together we say. And so it is. We have our annual meeting right now, and then after our annual meeting, we'll be going in for lunch. So stay and join us.
Good. Oh, it's almost afternoon, but I'll still say good morning, everyone. Welcome to our 2025 annual meeting, which is going to represent what our accomplishments and goals are that we achieved during 2024. And I also welcome everyone online that's with us today. So I would like to invite Reverend Michael up to do our invocation.
Okay, so we know spirits everywhere present, and Adrian and Darcel and Chuck have told me, don't move away from the microphone because they don't have my wireless headset or they won't be able to hear you online. So even though spirits everywhere present, we know that at times we focus, and what we focus on is faith. The faith that spirit is in every aspect, in every angle, in every attribute of this ministry at CSL Beaumont. Spirits in each member. Spirits in each Board of Trustee member. Spirits in each member of this community that surrounds this center. And so as we focus on the centeredness of spirit as the center of the energy, as the center of the abundance, as the center of creativity, as the center of collective consciousness of all of us coming together in that unity of one, I know for myself, and as I know it for myself, I know it to be true for each and all of us, that spirit is in this house. Spirit is the foundation of this house. It's the building blocks of this community. It's the presence of knowing that this meeting unfolds perfectly as we honor the accomplishments of the past, set forth our hope for achievements of the future, and right here and now, bring the presence of spirit to all that we do at Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont. And together I invite us to say, and so it is.
Right now, I'd like to invite Evonne Fowler to discuss our minutes, and we're trying to keep this down to 15 minutes, so Evonne's not going to read the entire minutes from last year, but just discuss them, unless you'd like to. I know you're a speed reader. We don't want to let you miss out.
Yeah. We have the booklet, and it's the annual meeting booklet, and the minutes are in here. And for time, rather than read the minutes, I'd like you to know that they'll be available right out here in case you need to look at them for any reason whatsoever. But what's going to happen is it's almost going to be the same thing that we're here now. It talks about the benefits of last year, what we did, our accomplishments, and the accomplished for the next year. So I'm not going to read them, but they're available to you. Is there anyone that would object to that? I don't think so. I know, there's 5 pages. How come I'm not moving?
Right foot.
Huh?
Just one.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, just one.
Okay. This is the Board of Trustees. So you can see who your members are. Now, Bill is the president, and Emmy is the vice president, and I'm the secretary, and yeah, the treasury, I'm looking right at her. Dorothy is a treasurer, and the Board of Trustee members that are at large are both Betty Ann and also Judy Garthwick. So that's your current board. And these are the minutes that I'd like you to speed read. Okay? So, the nominations for the Board of Trustees, and these are the qualifications. These are the qualifications. Be a member of CSLB for 6 months, enrolled in foundation course, completed or be enrolled in foundations course. And those people that are in Beyond Limits can also nominate themselves or be nominated. Willing to accept the responsibilities of the Board of Trustees and have no relatives or live-in relationships, be employed in this church or on the Board of Trustees, okay? So those are the restrictions. No trustee may receive any compensation for their board of, for being a board of member, okay? So with that in mind, the three of us, Reverend Michael, myself, and Donna McNeese Smith were on the nominations committee, and no one wanted to be nominated. No one. So what we had to think about at the board meeting is, let's hope that someone will come aboard right now from the floor, knowing those responsibilities, and nominate themselves. Is there anybody that would like to nominate themselves for the board? I get to say it 3 times. Is there anyone that would like to be a board member for 2025? It's a 3-year position. One more time. Anybody interested in becoming a part of the board for 2025? Well, so we have an amendment, and the membership has to vote on this amendment. Okay? So the current bylaws, Article 4 for 2025, the current Board of Trustees will extend their term for 1 year. Okay? So the current Board of Trustees will be on the same rotation, and the rotation that they're currently on. Betty and I were to go off the board this year. So we have elected to stay on, and so that will change the rotation of the board for next year. Is that clear? All in favor, say aye and raise their hand if you're a member. I knew you would.
Okay, at this point, I'd like Dorothy Cole to come up and discuss a brief view of last year's and projections for this year.
Yes.
This is what I was showing. You know what this means, right?
I'll hold that for you.
Oh, I need it. I need it. It has my papers in. Good morning still. Good morning. And thank you for being here. Okay, I'm going to have to take this out. That's not going to work. And yes, you can hold this for me now. Thank you.
Can I cash it?
Yes, you can cash it. Take it to the nearest bank. Okay. My name is Dorothy Cole, as most of you know, and I have the honor and the privilege to serve on the Board of Trustees as your treasurer. And because of that, we also have a finance committee that falls under the direction of our bylaws. And the treasurer is always the chair of that finance committee. So before I get started, I'd like to introduce you to the existing finance team. So when I call your name, please stand and be recognized, okay? Our president of the board is Bill Sodi, who is on the committee. Our senior minister, Reverend Dr. Michael. Representatives from the membership at large, Sandy Schilling Fetterman and Joan Frost, who is not here today. Because the membership, the representatives from the membership are on a 2-year assignment with us on the committee, Sandy will be coming off the committee this year, and we have Jack Burnham coming in effective last month, January. So you're looking at the team. So I stand here. Oh, of course, poor Marcia. I'm so sorry. Marcia Becker is always on the committee as our administrator, okay? Sorry about that, Marcia. And who is not present and normally won't be is our bookkeeper, Pam Weekly. And she supports us and is part of our committee. Let me just set the stage. What I am going to do in representing both the board and the finance committee is walk you through the financial activity from 2024, what we intend to do going forward this year, 2025. We ask that you hold your questions until after the entire annual meeting is completed, and we'll be more than happy to address those, okay? So, beginning with our finances, in 2024, we set the budget. As you can see, the total revenue that we set was about $103,000, and I will be rounding it up instead of saying the exact numbers. Our total expenditures, $136,000, and we knew going into 2024 that we would have a shortfall, and the net operating revenue was right close to $33,000. So, based on that, what did we actually do in 2024? Our actual total revenue for the year was $138,000. Our expenses, however, was $162,000, which brought us a net operating revenue of close to $24,000, which is better than what we had projected as a net operating revenue. Also, our revenue was higher by over $35,000 than what we had projected. And our net revenue, as I just stated, was $9,000 less than what we had projected, our net operating. So that was very positive. What you're seeing is the graph, the pie chart, that gives you an indication of where did the money come from. So in 2024, that $138,000, the bulk of it came from pledges, your tithes, your offerings. As a matter of fact, 62% of the total income was from your tithes and offerings. With additional income, 23%, $32,000, and other contributions, close to $20,000. Okay? Our expenses, as I stated earlier, was close to $162,000. The bulk of the expenses and it always is, in most organizations and companies, is your staff. 45% of the expenses was staff, the cost for staffing, okay? And then the next expense would be administration, facility expenses. That's the maintenance, upkeep. That's our utilities. That's our gardener. It's our janitorial services. All of that falls under our facility expenses. And then we'll get to what did our assets look like at the end of 2024. That's slide 21, please. Okay, good. You know why it looks different? Because I have my notes on mine. Okay. Our assets, first of all, it's important that you know that CSLB is mortgage free. That's great, yes. We bank with U.S. Bank exclusively, and we utilize the local U.S. Bank in Banning for all of our banking. So our bank totals at the end of 2024, the total was a little over $253,000. And then you can see the breakout, checking account, our savings account, and let me just expand a bit on the savings account. The monies that you see, that's close to $42,000 in that savings account, is housing or holding, I should say, designated restricted funds. What that simply means is that donations that have come in for a specific purpose are placed in that account, okay? So that money is only used or utilized for whatever those donors had given that monies for, okay? We were able to open a platinum money market account, and at the end of last year, there was close to $123,000 in that account. And we all know that part of that was because of the generous donations, I should say, that we received from members in 2024. And then at the end of the year, we still had the 2 CDs, the 2 certificates of deposits. One that states building fund has been around for a long time. I believe Donna McNeese Smith opened that account when she was treasurer, and that's been about 5, 6, 7 years ago now, I believe. And then the second one we have flagged as a reserve fund, which is a little over $32,000. But what I want you to also know is that the reserve fund, we want to look at how we might, going forward, increase that amount that's in reserve. Traditionally, in reserve funds, we should have 6 months of our operating expenses in that fund, okay? So that's something that the committee will be looking into, and how we can make that happen jointly with the Board of Trustees, okay? Continuing on with the designated funds, Ministry of Prayer has a little over $11,000, and there again, these are designated accounts. We have on the memorials, marketing and publicity, you can see the amounts. Our guest musicians, Rose Garden for maintenance and upkeep, facility repairs, maintenance, and M-Wave, no monies at this time, which simply meant that they utilized all that had been reserved for them last year. And we're still holding that money that we received years ago for youth ministry, and that's still there. Community outreach, we accrue monthly. This year, it is 4% of the total contributions that's being accrued. Another is the minister's discretionary savings is accrued monthly at 1% of the contributions. And then we have the Practitioner Education Scholarship Fund, as you can see the amount there as well. And lastly, under designated funds, we have $600 that was designated for beautification project here in our sanctuary. And new is the Rainbow Alliance, and that fund is to support activities that support our commitment to creating a safe space for our LGBTQ community. And the other is PFLAG, is it, Reverend? Okay, PFLAG. And that is our commitment to do that. Next. So what do we attribute the success of 2024 financials? We go back to the same overall increase in giving. Our tithes ended at 99% more than the pledged amount we received. 9% more. We also received substantial donations from our members and friends, which totaled a little over $100,000. Our Solera Friends and Family Real Estate Donation Program, that's Bill and Rosanna. And that program has been in effect with us, in partnership with us. Now I believe, Bill, we're into our third year, probably. And close monitoring of our expenses. And because Reverend Michael and Ross introduced and implemented some new and diverse events and fundraising activities here at our center. As a result, now sometimes you don't see the profit side may be a little short, but I do know of 2 individuals who sent us substantial donations as a result of our Christmas in July event. They donated outright to our center. And then the other huge accomplishment was the independent external compilation review that was completed with positive results. Now, that compilation was mandated by our bylaws. It sort of is like an audit, and we are so happy that we were able to fulfill that and that we had some great outcomes, some very positive outcomes. We have some recommendations that the team will be implementing as it relates to our best practices. So we already have a couple of individuals who are willing to work to make sure that we get those recommendations implemented. So then we look at this year. What is our budget going to look like for this year? What does it look like? Our projected revenue budget is for $153,000. We're doing something a little bit differently this year. We had 29 pledges, and those pledges, total, my mouth is dry, total a little over $100,000. In the past, we have not set the budget at 100% of the pledges, but we're stepping out in faith and knowing that all is going to be well. So we did this year set the budget starting with the total amount pledged of $100,532. And then other contributions, we're projecting 20 and additional income at a little over $32,000. So the projected revenue, it speaks in the pie chart, 66% of that will be coming from pledges, 21% will be coming from additional income, with $20,000 from other contributions. So what did we say about the expenditures, the expenses for this year? Well, we're looking at $169,000, and the breakdown is as you can see. If we turn the next page, the next slide, please, you can see that the preponderance of that amount is coming from staff, and then followed by facility, and then events. Our staff at 48% is $81,444. That's our expense for staffing. And then the breakdown for the other categories is there. What is our financial focus for 2025? Well, first of all, we're going to continue to closely manage the budget by monitoring all financial transactions. We want to ensure transparency and confidentiality. We want to continue to post the monthly financial results at a glance that we post on the bulletin board. Continue our partnership with the board and fundraising event team to explore and implement additional innovative income streams. We want to ensure that all events and expenditures are board approved to eliminate any negative budgetary impacts. We want to implement those recommendations that was brought to our attention from the compilation review. We'd like to facilitate a discussion regarding the overall financial health of CSLB, and it is our desire that from this discussion, it will be a starting point to initiate a strategic planning. And then lastly, we want to ensure that policies are in place for the designated restricted accounts. And I'm addressing the new accounts because those that have been around for a while, we have policies in place, but we do need to get those written for the new designated restricted accounts. And now, I'm sure you all want to know, okay, Dorothy, you've said all of this, so where are we? So what I did was, with the committee's blessings, is we wanted to bring you a picture of what we have in our bank accounts. So as of February 15th, which was 8 days ago, our total bank balance was $245,412. And the breakout you can see. What's new now than what was at the end of the year is that we've opened 2 additional CDs. Those CDs at the bottom of the slide at $35,000 each, where we moved money to purchase those CDs from the Platinum Money Market account. So you might ask, well, Dorothy, why did you guys do that? Well, we did it because, number one, when we opened it in mid-2024, we opened it at a 4.50%, and that it is now 1.6. So that's why we moved 50%, a little over 50% of the monies from that, and opened 2 new CDs, which will generate more interest income for us, okay? And lastly, in gratitude, we want to thank you because it's all because of you. We wouldn't be standing here, we wouldn't be able to share the financial results with you if you didn't continue to contribute your tithes and your offerings, if you did not continue to support the events and the fundraising activities. You share your talents and expertise. You participate in our classes and workshops. And what's really priceless is the volunteer hours that you provide, sharing your talents and expertise. And you always show acts of kindness as you do all of the above, and consistently demonstrate love for our spiritual home. So I hope this has given you some idea of what's going on financially with CSLB. As I stated earlier, we are available to answer any questions you may have, not only today, but anytime, okay? Our books are always open in the admin office. Marcia will lovingly and willingly share that information with you. So at this time, I'd like to ask Sandy to please come forward. Okay. Well, I don't call her Sandy in the committee meetings. I call her Eagle Eyes. Eagle Eyes, because that's exactly what she is and does. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, Sandy, and on behalf of our finance team, we wanted to present you with a token of our sincere appreciation for your commitment to the team over the past 2 years.
Oh, thank you.
And the certificate
Oh, nice.
of appreciation as well.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Sandy, I tell you, she is so quick to point out any discrepancies in the reports. And I want you to know, we meet monthly, and we get the month prior financials, which is easy, 25 to 30 pages of data. So, you know, you can count on Sandy to do a thorough review and push back, which is great because that's how we all get better. So we're going to miss you, but we know you're still here, and she's going to be busy doing some other things, I hope, on behalf of the center. Thank you so much, sweetie. Peace and love. Thank you. And thank you very much.
One more thing, Dorothy. We would also like to thank you for having done such an incredible job as treasurer.
Oh my goodness.
Dorothy is an absolute jewel when it comes to maintaining our maintaining our finances, our cash flow, and everything we do here financially. So I've got to give you my greatest appreciation for what you've done over the last year or two.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. I value your confidence and trust in me. And it's all heart, it's all God. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Okay. Do I have my money folder? I can't go anywhere without my $1 million.
Oh, man, I thought you were going to forget it.
No. Thank you.
At this point, I would like to ask Reverend Michael to give us an idea of what we've done, or what he's done in 2024, and what he will be doing in 25 as far as our senior minister.
I want to thank you, as Dorothy has said, it's your center, and we are trustees, and we do our best to guide this center, its finances, and its policies and procedures, and I'm kind of the head of our spiritual guidance and support, and how we bring that spiritual awareness into how we do the business of the center. Because we are a business, but we want to do it from a spiritual perspective. So how we bring prosperity consciousness into everything we do, how we bring co-creativity into every event that we do at this center, and combining spiritual practices and good business practices. It's a really wonderful blend and a really wonderful marriage at this center that will keep this center prospering, not only this year, but in years and years and years to come. So thank you for being co-conspirators and co-creators with us as we move forward in this journey. And so We want to take a look at what we did ecclesiastically. Reverend Neil and I and the Practitioner Corps are head of the ecclesiastical team. And what we did this year is we doubled the number of active practitioners at CSL Beaumont. Siv Adams, who is here today, joined our team. Tommy Jones, who will be here next week, joined our team. I joined our practitioner team, and we joined the current practitioners, Adrian Madden, Evonne Fowler, and Neil Hayner. So we doubled our practitioner corps this year, and my intention is to grow that even further. Education is a really important part of growing our consciousness as practitioners. We are all going to a spiritual retreat in May, a 3-day weekend up near Apple Valley, a spiritual retreat with Ken Gordon and some very experienced 30-year people at CSL. So your practitioner corps is always doing spiritual retreats, doing a 3-day retreat together to get to know each other and to learn more about our spiritual practices and principles. So continuing education, building our practitioner corps, building our spiritual awareness and present. That team is here to serve this center, and that team is here to serve you. So take advantage of it, and right direction in doubling the team, and we know the team is going to expand. Ecclesiastical. This year, we doubled our ministerial presence. I joined as spiritual director and senior minister, and Reverend Neil just signed a letter of call as staff minister. So we've gone from 1 minister to 2 ministers. So we've got 2 people on board holding that spiritual realm and that ecclesiastical realm. This year, we also brought in our flower ministry. Rev Bev said, hey, how do we get flowers? I said, I want flowers every Sunday. And so Rev Bev created the flower ministry, and it's going very, you can see we've got 3 bouquets today. It's going very, very well. So flower ministry, Rev Bev and Ross has taken over the providing of the flowers, the buying of the flowers in accord with your wishes and your anniversary. So please step up, keep that flower ministry going and growing. It's part of spiritual presence for me, you know? Flowers are spiritual presence, and fresh flowers in a sanctuary are just so important to me. So thank you for keeping the flower ministry going. Red Bev, I think you're online. Thank you for the flower ministry. Ross is filling in, and we know you're going to be back and joining him in flower ministry soon. Music program. And so I'm going to have to walk up and read that slide because I didn't bring my notes. So we did Christmas in July, Palm Springs Gay Men's Chorus, part of bringing Rainbow Alliance to the center, an all-inclusive alliance. And we had over 115 people in this sanctuary that night. We had 80 people. We sold out the concert. It made a profit. Not about making a profit. It was a great event. So it's not always the bottom line. It's really the top upside of a great spiritual experience. But between the choir members and the attendants, about 80 people, 35 in the choir, we had almost 120 people in this building. And here's the thing. 60 of them, almost half of them, had never been in this building before. That's why we do events, to bring in people in who've never been here before. So very thrilled with that. Al Yankee did a jazz concert. Al Yankee and Friends. It was a phenomenal jazz concert. So we'll be bringing Al Yankee back. But it was just phenomenal to see Al in his perfect right space. It was so much fun. He and his friends were having so much joy with that. Daniel Nahmod was here twice, his One Power concert. We did a Christmas Eve candlelight service with Al Yankee providing the music. It was a great event. We had about 30 people and a full Christmas Eve dinner, and we know that's going to grow as we go forward. Judy put together a handbell concert. We had good attendance for that, and we're coming in March 30th. Carl is coming back. Anthony is coming here for the first time with his Hold Up the Sky concert. If you haven't seen Carl, don't miss it. It's going to be a terrific event. So he'll provide the Sunday music and a Sunday concert. So our music ministry is growing and expanding. Our intention is to have more live Sunday music as we go forward. Rainbow Alliance, and our motto is building on faith, family, friendship, and fun. And so we did a diversion, equity, inclusion workshop with Reverend Victoria Bomberry. That was well attended. We did a self-esteem workshop with Francine Ward. We did a major transformation with Laura Meeks, Air Force pilot retired. And we just did Cosmic Slingshot with George Melton. And Lois came to that seminar, and she said something really nice at the end of the seminar. And she said, I came here to support the center. I really didn't want to come to this seminar. And she said, I learned so much. I'm really glad I came. So I will share with you, if you come to a concert and you don't think you want to come, I guarantee you're going to have a good experience. So come to the events. Even if you don't want to come, you're going to have a good experience. You're going to learn something and help support the center as well. And right now we're moving Rainbow Alliance ahead. We're moving CSLB forward ahead. We're creating a safe space at this center. It's a very challenging time for our LGBT and trans community right now. Very difficult time. And so we're creating a safe space here, and we are working with PFLAG to become a member of PFLAG. They have 355 chapters. We'll be probably number 356. They have 555,000 members worldwide, and we'll bring conscious conversations to parents, friends of lesbian and gays. It's open to everyone, and they'll be joining our LGBTQ conscious conversations once a month. So paperwork is in process. We've been approved. So very excited about PFLAG. We'll be the only chapter within 51 miles. So we're going to know that creating that space is going to make a difference in people's lives. You got to bring this into conversation. You got to bring this into conversation if we're going to heal it. And that's what we're about. Food for Fellowship. I'm really excited. We expanded our Food for Fellowship lunch program this year. When I came here, you were doing one potluck a month. Now we're doing a full Sunday meal, a full Sunday lunch every Sunday. We did Thanksgiving turkey giveaway. We were awarded 16 turkeys. We gave 12 of them away, and we kept 4 for ourselves. We have one left in my freezer. I think we'll be using that in April or the Carl Anthony concert. We did not steal that turkey. It's in our freezer. That's where it is. So we have one left. I know Dorothy is keeping track of everything. See, we are missing a turkey. And it was a big one. It was a 20-pound one, so it's in our freezer. So that will come back to the center. We did a Thanksgiving Day dinner here for the first time rather than the Sunday before. We had about 35 people in attendance. So it was a great event. I know that's going to grow. Our Christmas Eve candlelight dinner and service was great. That will grow. We're doing Wednesday movie nights every second Wednesday, and we're doing something every second Wednesday. We did chair yoga last month. Well attended, and it was a great event, right? It was a great event. And last year at CSL, we served nearly 2,000 Food for Fellowship meals. And that's a great start to build on. And this year, we're going to serve even more. So thank you for supporting our Food for Fellowship. It's a big part of ministry to be able to sit down and get to meet you and talk with you and get to know you better. So Food for Fellowship is a huge part of my ministry and the ministry at CSLB. But really give yourself a hand. We provided 2,000 meals. Education. We expanded our online ability to host online education. We intend to get some online classes going for people who can't attend in purpose. We did Power of Decision class. We did Prosperity 3. We did Beyond Limits. We have Speaking Science of Mind ongoing, Goldsmith Book Study, Good Grief Group, and Adrian taught a class here, which isn't on the roster. It was Creative Consciousness, but Adrian taught a class. So we had quite a few classes going upcoming. We'll be teaching the Heartlight class, which is from my book on consciousness entitled Heartlight, and we are forming a practitioner class. We're getting people ready, taking prerequisite classes, but we will do a practitioner class coming up. Our events, we did metaphysical movie nights and meals. We did metaphysical bingo. We did the Rose Garden. We had a Rose Garden wedding service. We're doing divine dining and upcoming divine dining. We will be doing historic Mission Inn, lunch and tour, a divine destination, Huntington Gardens High Tea. Incredible event. Sign up for that. Divine dining, bid on that. Don't miss it. Divine destinations, Integratron with a picnic basket lunch. So those are things that we have upcoming here in the spring. That's my report. I want to thank you for all you do on behalf of CSL. Because of what you do, we get to do what you do. And CSL is becoming alive in 2025. Thank you so much.
At this point, I would like to invite up Emmy to discuss membership services and what was accomplished last year.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I have my paper in front of me because I can't read there or there. So Member Services Committee, first of all, the people who serve on that, if they can stand up too. We meet monthly, every single month for year after year after year, and we work together to keep in touch with all of our membership, all the people members and friends, and we divide ourselves
geographically by where people live, so that we have a way to keep in touch with everybody that way. So Betty Ann, stand up, Donna McNeese, Dorothy Cole, Evonne Fowler, Linda Saylor, Rosanna DeLeon, and Rowena Kay. Okay. I want to thank these ladies so much for everything that they do. So what we do, like I said, is we try and keep in touch with everyone on a monthly basis, phone calls or emails. So that's to check in, see if they haven't been coming to services. Are they home? Are they sick? Do they need anything? Can we do anything for you? Okay. And also, I'm sure, to share information about upcoming events so that you're in the know of what's going on. We keep the membership directory updated twice a year. We're waiting for the next new member orientation, and then we'll include the new people. When you join, we want to make sure you can see your name, you're in the directory. That's important. We're highlighting membership, businesses of members, the entrepreneurs in our community. And we're highlighting them both by putting business cards on the bulletin board, and Dorothy's been writing up one business like every month, every other month, so that we know who in our congregation has a business that we can support. Making sure that name tags are available to everybody, delivering Sunday fellowship meals, creating a community resource directory, and visiting the sick and the housebound is one of the things that we really get into in many ways. Sometimes it's helping people move, sometimes it's helping people just bring food to their house. There are many ways that we are visiting people, taking them to doctor appointments, taking them to grocery shop, cooking, finding help for them if they need it, and bringing them to center activities. Okay, and some people are not on member services and they do the same thing, and it's important that we reach out and support one another. And we, Betty Ann sends monthly greetings to birthday people, anniversary. What? Oh, it's a secret that she's a secret Santa? Okay. We send out cards mysteriously to everyone when they have an occasion. Okay, and then for snail mail, right? Okay, so next year what we want to add to that is that our center has hearing assistance devices. We want to make sure they're in good working condition and that they're readily available to anyone who needs assistance with hearing our services. And we want to promote more volunteerism, such as the Kitchen Angels, and we're going to continue to support the new member orientation and all the other activities that we have been doing this year. We'll keep on doing. So I want to thank everybody who's been doing it. Invite anybody else who'd like to help with us to join us. We would love your participation. And we meet, right now we're meeting on the second Monday at 10:30 in the morning, yeah. So that's based on who's on the team and when they're available. So if you want to be on the team and you can't come Monday at 10:30, tell me you want to be on the team and when you're available, and we'll see if it flies with everybody else, okay? Thanks so much.
Thank you, Evie. What I'd like to now bring up is Betty Ann, and she's going to give us a lowdown on what we did in 24 and what we're going to be looking forward to in 25. Okay.
I'm here. Technology, technology, technology. I'm Betty Ann James, and I do, one of my main events that I really, really enjoy is being that snail mail person. So if you see something that comes from CSLB, it's me. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm really happy to do that. So I cannot read that backboard. Can't read this one either. However, Ross was my co-chair this past year, and he helped me immensely because he knows the technology. He suggested to himself to resign. And I will miss you, but you're still here. Okay. So some of the events that we did have, Reverend Michael already shared with you. So they're intertwined. Going forward, well, we have the Divine Dining, which Reverend Michael and Ross hosted up in Idlewild, which was a great success. Okay, we had a Kwanzaa celebration, and Kwanzaa is not a religion, and I have to always emphasize that. It is a cultural awareness, and it aligns so very, very much with a CSL, or Science of Mind, because there are 7 principles. And if you follow those principles, and I spoke with a young lady yesterday, and she said she keeps her Kenora, and she talks about the principles every day to her young children, because one of them is unity, and one also respect. And that's what we're kind of losing. And I heard Reverend Michael talk about the self-checkout, which I agree, So coming up in 25, oh, I'm sorry, we also had the Bell concert. And this sanctuary was filled with our community. And that is one of the really, really, I guess, important things that we do. We want the community to come and see that we're not just beating them up with religion, that we're entertaining them, and then you get a sense of unity and what CSL is all about, okay, through entertainment. In 2025, we'll continue to do the Divine Dining and the Pet Blessing, the Tea Party. We just had a tea party, and it was very, very successful. It was 7 sips of tea, and I've incorporated, and I learned that there are only 3 or 4 real teas. So when you go and you ask for herbal tea, it is not tea. It's herbs mixed together with hot water. We're trying to have a holistic fair here, and we've had one once before, and it was very successful, knowing how to take care of you, which is most important, and we forget about that. Love offerings continue to come in for these activities. The Daniel Nehart concert, and you can see what funds were raised there. But I do suggest, strongly, techie people, get the word out for our events, okay? Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to beg. We need people on the events team. And you have ideas, I'm sure. You have people that you know that can come and present. There's a lady that has been a jazz singer, and we learned she lives right there in Four Seasons. And she'd love to come because she's also been at the CSL churches in Los Angeles. So that's an event that we need to bring here. Thank you.
What I'd like to talk briefly about now is our tech service and media. And first, our social media. What we're trying to do, what we're accomplishing quite well, is to reach out to the community through streaming methods and on YouTube, where they can take a look at what the service was whenever they want to, and whatever allows them the time to do that. What I'd like to show you, which is real small, I'm going to have to do the same thing Betty Ann did, is what we've been able to achieve during 2024, which I'm very proud, and the tech team's very proud of, the media crowd. In YouTube, what you'll see is what the viewership was in 23 versus 24. And the biggest thing I'd like to show you is the live streaming, which is people watching live, and then the number of views, which are individuals coming during the week, at night, and we've been able to see a 484% increase in individuals viewing the service online on YouTube, which equates to 204 views per week. So we'd love to see the sanctuary filled, and at the same time, we'd love to see thousands of people that are viewing what we're doing here. And we're accomplishing a lot also in some of these other streaming services, such as Instagram, which has become a very popular. We had no viewers in 23 and increasing to 84 in 24. And people coming directly to our website has increased 40% over the year. So that's one thing. Again, we're very proud of our social activities, our online social activities. And again, that's another area we see in not only increasing people that are able to view it online, but people that view it online and want to come in. And they want to become part of our family one-on-one. Oop, I can't read it there either. What we've done equipment-wise to improve what the viewers are seeing and the people online are seeing. We're constantly improving our equipment so that what they see is very high quality, and once they start watching it, they don't want to stop watching it. So just real quickly, what we've done, we now have 3 high-definition cameras. Actually, one's right above your head. We have AI software that can actually follow Reverend Michael, who tends to be sometimes very animated, but the camera, the camera is always able to stay on him, even if one of the operators isn't steering it around. Computer equipment, computers. What we've added, which you probably haven't noticed, we have online capabilities now in Carter Hall, where classes can be conducted and very soon Zoom presentations. The lighting, and one thing you probably, I don't know, you might have noticed, our tech booth, which for 20 years was made out of 5 doors that were nailed together. And last year we were able to actually create and build a real sound booth with soundproofing around it so that our tech operators can talk without all of us hearing what's going on there. Buildings and grounds. We've achieved a lot last year. We're very busy. Most of you that park in the back parking lot notice now you don't have to swerve around trees or be concerned when you're backing up. We have 2 of the large trees in the parking lot that were removed. We've completely painted the interior of the building, the sanctuary, Carter Hall, all the other rooms. Some basic stuff, we replaced the sprinkler system for the grounds and the rose garden. We were able to completely replace the flooring in Carter Hall, which was there for decades, with a very nice porcelain floor that's going to last for decades to come. We installed a new sidewalk on the side, not only for walking, but to prevent some of our rodent friends from coming in. We had a wonderful group of skunks that would visit us occasionally. And as much as I love skunks, they tend to interrupt things in our services. We do conduct, we have an individual that comes in and inspects the building once a month to make sure that we don't have any issues going on and the building stays nice and healthy for us. We also installed some ADA commodes in the ladies' bathroom and continued to look at what we need to add as far as ADA and helping our handicapped members and visitors be more comfortable here. And that is the end of our presentation. What I'd like to do now is have Reverend Michael, well, actually, no, we don't have any new trustees, so we're not doing an induction. But we'd like to have Reverend Michael do the benediction and call our meeting to a close.
So I'd like to give a shout out to the tech team. There's a lot of transition going back there. Cables are being adjusted and monitors and new equipment's coming in. So it's been a challenging time for tech, but you know, in the word challenge is the word change. And tech is changing, and we're seeing results in our figures. So I really want to thank Adrian, who is one of our practitioners. Will be stepping more fully into practitioner role, but for being such a good mentor with Darcel and Chuck as we work through this transition period. So thank you so much for making this transition easy and professional. It is so much appreciated. And we thank Chuck and Darcel for stepping up as we move forward with our tech team. And so let's just... we don't hold anything in consciousness. Consciousness is always free-flowing. If we hold it in consciousness, then consciousness gets stuck. So we don't hold on to things in consciousness. We let go, we release, we let go, and we let Spirit run our life. So knowing that Spirit was present in this building in 2024, Spirit's present in this building in 2025, but mostly the presence of Spirit is present here because you're present here. It's the gift of your presence as the presence of Spirit, which is the guiding light that guides your Board of Trustees, guides your events team, guides your Rainbow Alliance team, guides all of your teams to that higher purpose and that higher passion and that higher presence of being part of a world that works for everyone. And whatever part you choose to play in this center, as a community member, as a board member, we thank you for being part of that vision, holding that high watch, and coming to see with us together that a world that works for everyone is possible when we come together as a spiritual community on Sundays, on Wednesdays, on Tuesdays for class. So coming together in a world that at times seems it's falling apart is the way we build this world into a beautiful vision, a beautiful tapestry, and a beautiful truth of a world where everyone feels safe, where everyone is included, and everyone gets to celebrate their spiritual magnificence in their own way. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being the spiritual presence that you are. And on behalf of our Board of Trustees and CSL headquarters, and there's homes in this teaching, thank you for being you. And together we say, and so it is.
As Dorothy was saying, please grab us afterwards if you have any questions about anything that we presented today. And let's go have lunch. Thank you.